You are a guinea pig. Isn't it that the idea that comes to your mind the first time you think about a clinical trial? I am Fari Haddad, hematologist and oncologist, and I will be discussing with you today the concept of clinical trials. First, let us review some basics. Testing a new treatment involves a series of clinical trials which are done in steps or phases. Each phase is designed to test a specific information about the new treatment. The phases of clinical trial goes in order from 1 to 4, and a successful treatment goes from phase 1 to phase 2, then phase 3, and eventually phase 4. Doctors may shut down or close a clinical trial if they have concerns about the safety of the patients enrolled in this clinical trial. Most of the clinical trials involve only one phase, but some trials combine both phases. For example, we have clinical trials that combine both phase 1 and phase 2. What is a phase 1 trial? Phase 1 trials are the first step in testing a new treatment or combination of existing treatments among people. These trials often involve the greatest risk for patients, and most of these phase 1 trials are small and involve fewer than 30 patients. In phase 1 clinical trials, doctors test whether a new treatment is safe and look for the best dose of the treatments to use, and also they watch for signs that the treatment is working. To test for the best dose of a treatment, patients are divided into small groups, which we call cohorts. Patients in the first cohort get a small dose of the new medicine. If the first cohort does not have any severe side effects, then a new cohort gets a higher dose of the same medicine. The dose is increased with each new cohorts until doctors find the best dose. With each increasing dose, doctors also test to see if the patient is responding to the treatment. These phase 1 trials are mostly used for patients who have exhausted most standard and available treatment options. If the doctors find that the new treatment is safe, it moves to the phase 2 trial for more testing. What is the goal of a phase 2 clinical trial? The goal of a phase 2 trial is to test whether a new treatment is effective on a cancer, for example. Doctors study the treatment in one type of cancer. Most phase 2 trials involve fewer than 100 patients. Even though the main goal of the phase 2 trial is to test the efficacy of the treatment, doctors also closely monitor and watch for side effects. If the new treatment works, doctors may go to study it in a phase 3 clinical trial. Let us talk now about phase 3 clinical trials. Phase 3 trials may include hundreds to thousands of patients around the country or the world. In this step of the research, doctors test if a new treatment is better than the standard or available treatment for a cancer. Safety is also closely monitored as the treatment is studied in more and more patients. In phase 3 clinical trials, each patient in the trial will either receive the new treatment or the standard treatment that is available. Patients in the trial have a chance to be put in one of the two groups, either the control group in which they receive the standard treatment, or the study group in which they will receive the new treatment that is being tested. In phase 3 trials, doctors do not know if the new treatment is better than the standard treatment. They believe that the new treatment is as good or even better than the standard treatment. Doctors do not decide how patients are grouped. Instead, they use a computer to randomly assign the groups. The process is called randomization. Randomization ensures all patients have equal chances of being in either group, allows doctors to compare outcomes between the study group and the control group, and ensures if differences are found, they are most likely due to the treatments and not to other factors. We usually have two different types of randomized study. The first type is what we call single blind studies, in which the doctor knows the group the patient is in, but the patients do not know which group they are in. And the second type is the double blind studies, in which the doctor does not know the group the patient is in, and also the patients do not know in which group they are. Doctors can find out this information in case of an emergency. A successful phase 3 trial may lead to changes in the standard treatment of a cancer or another condition. The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, reviews the study results to make sure the treatment is safe and effective. The FDA decides whether to approve the new treatment for patients who have this disease. What is a phase 4 clinical trial? In phase 4 trials, doctors study treatments that have already been approved by the Food and Drug Administration, FDA. The goal of these studies is to learn more about the long-term side effects of these treatments. Researchers may also take a look on how the treatments affect the patient's quality of life and if the treatments are cost-effective. Phase 4 trials often involve thousands of patients. As a cancer patient, what are the benefits and risks of a clinical trial that you should be aware of? Like all treatment options, clinical trials have possible benefits and risks. When thinking about joining a clinical trial, you may consider if the possible benefits are greater than the risks. Let us review some of the possible benefits. The new treatment that you will receive on a clinical trial may work better than the standard treatment that is currently available. The new treatment may only be available through the clinical trial. The results of the trial may advance research research and help future patients. And if you are on a clinical trial, you will receive close monitoring from an expert medical team. Now, what are the possible risks of a clinical trial? The new treatment may not be better than the standard treatment. The new treatment may not work for you, even if it worked in other patients. And there may be known or unknown side effects of the new treatment. You can read about the possible benefits and risks of a specific clinical trial in the trial's informed consent form, which will be provided for you by the medical team.